And, you know, just a quick preview for anybody that's watching online also. We're going to be announcing more about Spotlight Charlie Parker, and we've got way more events and a lot more cool things happening. So please check in with our social media and also check in with our website. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Big round of applause for BJ Jansen. Come on, give it up, give it up, give it up. Hey, thank you all for being here tonight. This is great, and we're going to talk about jazz and cigar lounges, which until Steve suggested it to me, I'm not sure it ever had really crossed my mind, but here we are. Let me introduce our panel. To my immediate left here, Mike Simmons. He's the owner and operator here of the Shop Cigar Lounge. In the middle, we have Jason Sharp. He's co-owner and operator of Sherry's Executive Lounge. Do I have that right? Good. And Will Harris at the end, owner and operator of Classic Blend Cigar and Coffee Lounge. Let's give them all a round of applause for being here tonight. You know, Mike, I want to start with you, Mike, because this is a really nice space. And you've obviously made a lot of decisions, a lot of choices to make this place what it is. Tell us how you put it together, how long you've had it, and what you're aiming to do here.
So we actually just celebrated our 3-year anniversary this last Friday. So 3 years in the making. Yes, yes. So thank you. So my vision for this place, I mean, I've been thinking about opening a cigar lounge. It goes far back until like 2016, 2017. And I always kind of envisioned a cigar lounge where you walk into and it's like you're walking back through time. Like what would a cigar lounge feel like if it's like 1940? Right. And so that's kind of what I envision, you know, about this place. And like, you know, we call them like conversation pockets, you know, because I think all of our lounges are kind of like that. It's where it's just not a row of seating. Like you're not just facing a TV. Like you're meant to have conversations. You're meant to be with people, and you're kind of meant to get away from, you know, the busy life outside of here and just sit here and relax. And you know, that's really what I wanted to do about this place, and kind of like I said, like that old-timey feel. So, yeah.
You've got music here, live music here on Friday and Saturday nights. Tell us about that, too. Is it all jazz?
Yeah, so I would say 90% of the time it's jazz. We have like maybe like 1 or 2 nights a month where we do something different, like R&B one night, and then kind of like a DJ that plays kind of all like 70s and 80s kind of R&B, but 90% of the time we do jazz. It's Monday through Friday. I wish I'm not like Jason over here. It's Friday and Saturday from 8 to 10, and yeah, normally it's just traditional jazz. Yeah.
Jason, tell us about Sherry's and what it's like, and is it similar to this, different, and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Sherry's is very similar, actually, in the sense of an intimate space that we're enjoying music and cigars. To Mike's point, the experience is such that we enable meaningful conversation. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's quite a few cigar lounges in Kansas City and quite a few in the state and in the country, and a lot of them tend to be sports style lounges where the seats are facing the TV. And that's not the case for Sherry's. It's not the case for our lounges as we're sitting here. You know, we are smaller. Mike has a lot larger space. So we're a lot more intimate in terms of, you know, being a little more shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
And that's okay with me. We like it that way. But I love, you know, I love the concept that we all deploy, which is we have some elbow room to spread out and sit comfortably and sort of feel like a second home, which is what we're targeting, you know, to achieve at Sherry's, which I think is most of it at the table here.
And where are you?
So we're in the West 39th Street district, so 39th Street towards State Line, the KU Med area. So west of Westport. We did get confused with Westport quite a bit, but that's not the case. We're not in Westport.
Yeah. Well, Will, tell us about Classic Blend Cigar and Coffee Lounge.
Sure.
So we initially started, honestly, music was an afterthought. Initially for us it was coffee and cigars. The music came kind of as we pivoted because the initial space that we purchased or that we leased, they changed our hours because it was an attendant space. We had to share our lounge with other businesses. And
Right.
so once they did that, he said, well, it was kind of a compromise. Well, we couldn't open our hours till 5. And so once, I wasn't able to really push the coffee venue. And so then after that, we decided to bring in music. And so, in fact, we kind of tried to sell it, I shouldn't say try, that's kind of what we did, 18th and Vine up north. And so we brought the music in, and whatever acts that 18th and Vine had, we just more or less contacted some of those singers or artists and say, hey, we're trying to create this vibe up north. And so once you get one or two of those artists in, they just kind of, they talk. Once that there's a small group of guys that do that. I shouldn't say small.
Where are you up north?
On Burlington, 2425 Burlington. We actually have 2 locations up north.
Yeah.
Because after we were able to get some traction with our lounge that opens at 5, in my mind, I really wanted to do a coffee shop and cigars because I really like the two together.
Yeah.
And so after we started that lounge, and I invested so much money in the espresso machine and all that, I had to find somewhere where I could open up at 7 a.m. And so we found another location, and then we were able to really push the coffee. Cigar, and these guys can attest to that, it's not like the margins are huge with cigars. And so you have to figure out different revenue streams so it can make sense. So, we're not in business it's not a hobby for any of us. And so we brought that coffee in, and we pushed that in order to really, coffee and pastries. And oh, by the way, you can have a cigar with that. And so it naturally creates an opportunity for people to talk, do business, and have a cigar. So my location that's open during the day, it's off of Swift, 201 East 21st Street. And so that lounge really sells a lot of coffee.
And so what did the music add to the mix for you? How satisfied are you about
very satisfied.
What the jazz has brought to
Well,
what you're doing?
For us, it's a little bit of everything. R&B, jazz, blues, slow rock. But the jazz obviously brings conversation. And, the guys that come to listen to jazz, they're not necessarily really engaged in the band as much as they are engaged in one another, because they're just jazz is just kind of like what it is. It's just white noise after a while. It helps to create a better vibe, right? And so a lot of guys are not necessarily looking at the band.
Yeah.
Certainly the jazz band, they're talking to each other, having a cigar, having a cup of coffee, and most importantly, a glass of bourbon, which pairs well with a cigar, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to say, Will's not going to say this, but Will kind of started this all for us with the music, because before, I opened and before Jason opened, Will was the only one that was doing jazz and R&B in his cigar lounge, and I kind of took a note out of his book. I was like, I'm going to do something very similar to what he's doing. So he was kind of like a pioneer before. He ain't going to say it, we'll say it for him. So
it's been good.
As you look at this, Mike, what has the music brought to this place? What were you hoping for? What did you get?
Yeah, so I really, when I first opened, I really wanted to hit home on just strictly jazz. And I'm a big, huge fan of jazz. And like Will said, it's you want to play something to where it's not grabbing everyone's attention when they're in here, but it's good music, and people that love jazz, they'll pay attention to it, they'll like it. But you want to have music in here to where people can have conversations where it's not too loud, and
You want to give people the option.
Yes,
It sounds like,
because not everyone that's going to come in here is going to like the music, but I would say a majority of people do. But when you want to have the music, we want to have the live music. You want to have especially in here, you want to have music in here that it's not too loud that's not going to interrupt the conversation if someone's having a deep conversation. But you also wanted to have the music in here where someone can sit in the back and just relax and just chill and enjoy their cigar, their bourbon, the person they're talking to. So it's kind of like a little bit of both. Yeah.
You know, Jason, I said at the beginning, I'm not sure that a cigar lounge is the first place I think of when I want to go hear good music, and for me that means jazz. I mean, why does that make sense to you guys? What's the thinking there?
Good question.
So, for us, I looked at, Kansas City built its identity on jazz. Right? And
a lot of people seem to be forgetting that. Though.
Absolutely. And I looked at the neighborhood we were in, or we were about to be in, and there was a massive gap, a very large gap. There's quite a bit of nightlife and nightlife bar scene and things of that nature, but there was nowhere for anyone to sit back and enjoy the craftsmanship of good jazz music, which shares very similarly with a cigar. The craftsmanship is very real.
I was just going to say, there's a connection there, right?
The tools of the trade are just as important to us for cigars as they are, for the artist playing the saxophone or trumpet. That tool is very important. So the craftsmanship is real, and we wanted to keep that alive from a Kansas City cultural scene perspective. And to Mike's point, right? You look at how many jazz lounges that exist in the Kansas City metro, and then those of us that are doing something a little bit uniquely different. And for me, I'm a huge jazz fan. I'm a blues fan, and I love reggae. We have Marley Mondays at our space sometimes. So the scene itself, to Mike's point, to Will's point, we doubled down on creating a space that enables meaningful conversation, that enables the appreciation of the craftsmanship and the intimacy of a jazz lounge. It's very different from other music venues. A lot of music venues are transitioning to that high up tempo, a lot of floor dancing, things of that nature. And I didn't want to create that scene. I wanted a scene that felt like your living room, that promoted that conversation, that we can all maybe have a disagreement if we had to, but you would still walk away having enjoyed an experience. And this is what I think people are looking for today. They're looking for an experience.
Yeah.
And a jazz lounge provides that, and you double down with a cigar and jazz experience, and the craftsmanship is so unique that it really does create a memorable a walk-away level experience.
That's so interesting for me to hear you talk about this, because as I'm sitting here listening to you talk, it makes so much sense. The craftsmanship of the cigar, the craftsmanship of the music, the ambiance here, which fits so well, Mike, with that kind of music, and it does seem to dovetail together pretty well.
Yeah, so like kind of piggyback on what Jason was saying, it's like when you listen to jazz, most people are trying to find that peace. Like when you listen to it, you're trying to relax, find peace. You're doing the exact same thing when you're smoking a cigar. Everyone that comes in here is just trying to find their peace.
Yeah.
And then now we're just doubling down with the music too. So now you got jazz and you got cigars, and then you got a good conversation. Like there's no better place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Come visit Sherry's Classic Bins in the Shop Cigar Lounge.
Well, Will, I'm sitting here thinking that the musicians themselves must really appreciate having this new lineup of venues to go play in, because they're always looking for places to gig. For sure.
One of the things that I've noticed in Kansas City is there's a lot of musicians.
Yeah.
A ton. In fact,
A lot of really good ones.
good musicians.
Yeah.
In fact, when we first started, we reached out to UMKC to get some of those jazz musicians out on a Wednesday night, just to give them an opportunity to play, which is also what Blue Room was doing.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, you reach out to that, and those guys just want an opportunity to play, and they're good, and they bring in a different crowd. It exposes them to maybe something they wouldn't experience, and then it gets them to hone their skills. You know what I mean?
And did that work for you, bringing the students in?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because again, they all talk and, hey, there's an opportunity for us to play here. This guy reaches out to this guy, and I have people reach out to me all the time. In fact, hey, you want to do an open mic night? We'll come out and play for nothing.
Yeah.
But again, what happens is it makes us really busy. So I've had to turn guys down, say, no, we're good for now, but maybe next couple months we'll look at something.
I was going to say, are they bringing crowds of people or numbers of people with them? Is
For
it
sure.
working that way?
For sure, they'll bring some guys out. I mean, they're valuable to what we do. They really are.
Yeah, I think every musician that plays at our spots, they bring their own kind of crowd, and which is good because it helps us fill seats.
Yeah.
So but they all talk. Like you'll have one band play, and then one of those band members, they have a different band, and then they'll ask to play, and then they have a different band, and it's just like you kind of
It's a snowball.
It's a snowball effect, and soon you're like you're getting most of the musicians, jazz musicians in Kansas City reach out to play, which we all love because we all share a lot of the same artists, and we love it. Like I'm glad when sometimes they'll ask me like, do you mind if I play at Sherry's? Like, please do. Like, I want you to be a bigger name and I want you to have more people come and see here. So,
But that's the loyalty that you see among musicians. They sometimes think, well, I really don't, they build a relationship with somebody like me, Will, or Mike, and they think, am I allowed to play somewhere else? Yes. Why wouldn't you be allowed to play anywhere else?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, to your previous question, I think that it's a force multiplier is what we call it. And by that, we've got jazz and music lovers that come and enjoy our space, and we have cigar lovers that come and enjoy our space. Some of them unknowingly experience music for the first time, and some of them unknowingly experience cigars for the first time. And you get to build the bench of what I'll say, a grown folks experience, a grown folks space, which is really what we all are. We are a grown folks space, and I don't know if Mike or Will would agree, but
that's our motto here.
Yeah, I tend to have
Grown folk business.
Yeah. We tend to have. It's very rare we have anyone under 25, 30 years old.
I was just going to ask you that if the students are coming out here and they're bringing their own with them, those folks are under 25.
And that's what's interesting, though, is that they're bringing in the young crowd, but those young people get a chance to see what right looks like, what real grown men and women do when they're having a disagreement, a conversation, anything at all for that matter. It is about sitting down and engaging with each other at a level that results in a friendship, results in a business deal, whatever the case might be. Right, that's what I enjoy about seeing young people when they come in. I'm like, man, those guys are about to see what right looks like.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing for all three of our lounges is, like, we are, like, I tell people, like, we don't have bar energy here. Like, if you want bar energy, you got to go to a bar. This is not a bar. Like, you can drink here and you can smoke here. We have all the, the ingredients, but this is not a bar. This is a place for peace. And this is a place to relax, a place to listen to good music. So people realize that real quick, like, oh, like, I'm not supposed to be real loud in here. Like, I'm not supposed to have be yelling across the room or this and that. And so when the younger kids come in and see that, like he said, it's like, oh, this is how, like, grown folks, like, do things. Like, this is how, oh, this is what my parents are talking about. Like, this is,
It's interesting. A couple weeks ago, I had a couple young guys come in and I heard one of them get on the phone and say, there's a bunch of old heads in here, right? So you get that, and then they come in and they see the hats, the dress, and, it brings them to a standard. And so the next time you see them, they'll be kind of dressed up a little bit,
No kidding.
And
no
so
kidding.
and then they'll sit down and talk, and, hey, what do you think about this? You'll start having business conversations, because they want to know how you did it, what are you doing, what's your next move, and that kind of thing. So you'll find yourself mentoring a lot of these, 25, 28-year-old kids. A lot of them that come to my lounge on a Friday night or Saturday, I'll see at my daytime lounge.
yeah.
Doing, to come out and just have a cup of coffee and
Yeah,
talk.
a lot of them will come here and do homework and stuff.
Right,
They're
they
like,
wanna
I
talk,
like this
yeah.
place. Like,
Well, to that point, Mike, the energy level in this room suggests that the music, I'm guessing the music that you would want played here is a little bit on the mellower side
Yeah.
than coming down and blowing the roof off.
Yeah.
do the musicians pick up on that pretty
Oh, yeah,
quickly, or do you
yeah.
have to tell them ahead of time? Or?
No, they pick up on it pretty quickly. They kind of read the room very well. I mean, we do have like our nights, like we'll do a blues night or we'll do an R&B night. And like our 3-year anniversary, we had a band that kind of played some upbeat music for people to dance into. But people, like the musicians do a really good job of reading the crowd and reading the room on like what to expect and what to do. Like, because 9 times out of 10, this is how my crowd is half the time.
Yeah.
It's just they're relaxing. They're listening to music. They're talking. It's almost like a library in here. Sometimes it was like it's kind of too quiet in here.
Yeah, I tell them, look, if you see my people, and they're getting closer and closer and closer to each other to have a conversation, you know you got to tone it back, just a little bit. Yeah. If they're talking into each other's ears, you got to tone it back just a little bit, and they read that. They're very good. That's why they're jazz musicians. Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing that's emerging here is, I mean, I'm a big jazz head, and the notion that the cigar lounges are offering this kind of music was a little new to me. Events like this helps, but how are you getting the word out? I mean, how, because people need to be aware of this. I mean, I think a lot of people would be really interested in this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think like with us, like we like the slow burn of like people knowing about it. Like I like being a hidden gem because like I don't want there to be 80 people in here every night, because then it kind of loses its
And it wears you out.
but then it loses that, you know, mystique of it being a chill place. And like, you know, of course, like the money would be great to have it like every night, but we all like our chill nights. We all like, we love that. And like the word spread, like we all do a lot of social media. We all do, you know, our things, getting our events out there. But like, I know that most people that listen to jazz know where to listen to jazz at in the city, and then word starts spreading like, oh, you got to go to this new place and that new place. Like I tell people all the time, like if you love Green Lady Lounge and you like cigars, there's 3 places that you can go to. And so, yeah.
And you know, let's be honest, you don't see the Marlboro Man on the billboards anymore, right? So we have a lot of limitations in terms of what we can do, and you know, with respect to advertising. So to Mike's point, there's a lot of, we call it guerrilla tactics, boots on the ground tactics to get the word out, to help folks realize that there are other venues and other places that we can enjoy music and cigars together. Yeah. And it's a lot of legwork.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll hop in here.
For sure, for us, I just protect Monday through Thursday, right? Because I know Friday and Saturday is going to be, you know, R&B, blues. It's going to be a little upbeat. And in fact, I have to remind people, you know, we're open during the week. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as long as I protect those 3 days, and if I have any music between Monday and Thursday, it's always jazz. Always.
Yeah.
It's always someone. In fact, I may even bring in someone that doesn't sing, just play. Mm-hmm. Yes, and like on a Thursday, just kind of take us into the weekend, you know? In fact, I started with jazz. I had Max Groove, who's a jazz guy.
Yeah.
And that was the only music I had. And then after a while, I thought, okay, the money was so good, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do Friday and Saturday. So we brought in the Friday and Saturday, but that wasn't our initial. The initial thought wasn't to do Friday and Saturday night music. It was just a Thursday night jazz, and so Thursday night jazz was so successful. We brought in a Friday and Saturday and just kind of mix it up quite a bit.
That's really interesting because, you know, everything we talk about this in these forums that we do, the idea of jazz these days, when you think about it, for so many people, it's like a music that's such a niche, you know, kind of thing. The record sales are way down, and you get a sense that so many people aren't into it. But it also strikes me that what a great way to get into it in a room like this, where I'm wondering, as you introduce the music to people maybe who don't listen to it a whole lot, Mike, are you sensing they're latching onto it as they spend time?
I see people.
You're all nodding your heads.
Yeah, because we all share a lot of the same customers too. Like you see people that probably would never in their life listen to jazz, and they're in here on a Friday and Saturday. They're like, oh man, that band was awesome. Like, when do they play again? You're like, oh, I got you. Yeah, like now you're starting to like the music. Yeah, so it definitely grows on people because, like I said, like cigars and peace, like in jazz, they all go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, because a lot of times you're not going to see a lounge that does like that's ours that are playing like rock music. It's just, that's not, you know, the tempo you want to go to, and that's not really, you know, you're not really having that peace, listening to the type of music. Nothing against it, but it's like, I know all three of us, we're just not there.
Jason, I'm guessing that Mike's using the word peace a lot here today. I think a lot of people out there need a little bit of peace these days for a whole lot of reasons, but and we know what some of those are, but people need peace.
Absolutely, and well, I'll be honest, I'm a 3-time graduate of anger management. I didn't graduate the 4th time. I smoke cigars and I listen to jazz now. So the jazz experience does exactly that, and so does the cigar experience. And what I tell, my motto, my personal philosophy is this: when I sit down to smoke a cigar, I'm sitting down to have an executive session with my soul, and I want to have that conversation with myself or somebody else that's meaningful, that's going to provide some deeply valuable value to my life, and that's what exists in a jazz lounge, but more importantly, over a cigar. I mean, World Wars have ended over cigars. Like these things are very important to people, and it goes right back to craftsmanship, the trade, and what we're trying to accomplish here, which is bring that level of peace to someone's life.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased, but I feel like the people that smoke cigars are probably the best people in the entire world. Am I wrong?
Let's go with that.
Because you can have a conversation. It's not going to be a difficult conversation. There's, you don't have arguments. It's everyone gets along. Like I have people that are construction workers or people that own multi-million-dollar companies, and they're sitting in the same room together. They're having a cigar and they're relaxing, enjoying each other. And you would never see that anywhere else because they would never be in the same room. But you can see that in a cigar lounge.
That's a neat thing, because there ain't much of that going on in society these days. There are all kinds of groups out there trying to foster that kind of interaction. You're saying it's happening here organically all the time. Will, you see that too?
Oh, for sure. And you see a lot of, to his point, a lot of business networking going on. Once you get a cigar in your hand and you start talking, even if you disagree, it's a conversation. In fact, in my lounge, I have a lot of guys who watch Fox News. And so you'll come in my lounge and then Fox News on the TV, and then no doubt some guy will sit down, say, to be authentic and real. Get some black guy, some young older white guy, and young black guy sit down together, and they'll be having a conversation like, why are you a Trump supporter? Why are you not?
And they'll keep that real?
And they'll have that discussion, for sure, very real, for sure.
And you're able to have that conversation
Because you've got a cigar.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they're going to buy each other a cigar, probably.
What's the common ground?
That's pretty amazing what you just said. Really amazing. Yeah. And the young folks who come in, they're enjoying the music. I mean, again, you get a sense that a lot of young people want to go somewhere else, but they're digging it.
It's not just the music. It's the music. It's the cigars. It's the ambiance. It's the look. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's the people.
Yeah, it's the people as well.
Yeah, they get a chance to meet people that are willing to randomly spend an hour talking with you, and out of nowhere, you now have a brand new mentee relationship you had no idea was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
They're friends now, or whatever the case might be. And it happens every single day.
The music helps because in my lounge, I'm like Mike, during the week I play nothing but jazz, Monday through Thursday, in both lounges.
Yeah.
And so, again, but in the white noise, it's usually a TV or something on, and the guys will have a television on, and maybe Fox is on, or maybe sports is on, and you'll get guys having a conversation about whatever. Normally it's something that triggers it, maybe something they see, or some news line, or headline, whatnot. But again, it's the cigar, it's the environment, it's all of that.
Yeah. I want to ask these guys for their questions in just a moment, but so it sounds like you guys are saying what the country needs right now is a couple 100 million cigars.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's and you'd be willing to sell them too.
Turn on the embargoes and cut the tariffs.
Yeah. What about other cultural institutions in town? I'm thinking art museums, that kind of thing. Might they benefit from some of your experience here?
Yeah, so I know every third Friday from May to October, we have a third Friday art walk on this street, and it's huge. Like there's a couple thousand people that come down and enjoy, and then they come here and see the art. Like all our art on the wall is all local artists, and we even like sell some of their art too. So it's a very mixed, intertwined like business between both of us. Like
Right.
art is so big into cigar lounges. Like there's cigar art work too. Like I have a picture over there that's made of cigar art, and that picture over there on the wall right by the water cooler.
Yeah.
All made of like cigar bands and stuff like that. So like cigars and art kind of intertwined, and just as well as jazz music too.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to mention that we do is we feature an artist. But we have an artist wall.
Yeah.
And they'll come in probably every third quarter, and we'll switch the arts up. We'll switch the artists. And so those guys will come in and they'll buy the art. And so I'll have artists from UMKC actually, they'll contact us, hey, if you need a new artist, I got some new art I want to feature.
Yeah.
And I've actually met artists that I would have never met.
Yeah.
Because now I'm featuring their art, and I have other artists calling me and saying, hey, can I get some art on the walls? Well, every third quarter, I switch it out.
Yeah.
We partner with a lot of organizations too, and it is certainly interesting to see their minds blown that these kinds of spaces exist and that people can enjoy these spaces. And we partner with even KU Med, we partner with UMKC. They host events with us, things of that nature. The art scene, very, very real in our space. One of our most enjoyable evenings, we have a live artist that paints the room over saxophone, and everybody who's there, they're there for the evening, they get a ticket, some sort of raffle ticket, and at the end of the evening, that's drawn, they get to walk away with that painting.
You see, he paints a painting, you're saying?
It's right there. It paints the room. It paints people right on the spot. It's great.
That's a neat idea.
It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And give you we have art shows. We had a poetry evening. Well, first of all, we have poetry evenings once a month. But we had a poetry evening where the poets were each assigned an artist. And the poet had to create a new poem based on the art piece. And it was a really very unique evening that when each poet got up, they stood next to their artist with that painting and they pitched the poem that's based on that piece of art and based on that artist. And it was riveting. I mean, people were in tears in some cases.
No kidding.
And just you have to get creative in terms of generating experiences for people, which is really what folks want and what we're capable of doing in spaces like Mike's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big difference that we're starting to see in our cigar culture, cigar world, is your traditional lounges are no more. Like your traditional lounges, normally you have TVs all over the wall.
Right.
No music. You come in, it's just like a guy's lounge. You come in, you smoke cigars, and you watch Sports Center.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And then I think you'll see more and more pop up, and I think we were the pioneers of Kansas City. Like we really wanted to hit home of jazz and art, and so you're starting to see a little bit more when lounges pop up. Like they're different. Like they're not your cookie cutter lounges, is what I call them.
Yeah.
Each lounge in Kansas City, I believe, has their own identity, and they're all different, and I love that.
That's neat. That's neat. So if you listen to jazz, just forgetting cigars for a minute, who do you listen to? Who are your go-to people in the jazz world? Mike, let's start with you. Where do you go?
Man, so I am Miles Davis, Chet Barker. I was blessed on getting Bobby Watson to play here.
Oh, no kidding.
That was a phenomenal show.
I bet that's right.
And so, Bob, I just have jazz is playing here all the time, and I'm a huge jazz head. So, these Charlie Parker.
All those guys.
All those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
I have so many.
I'm a 1930s, 1940s kind of guy.
Wow.
I really enjoy, and even the 50s, 60s, like the Louis Primas of the world, that era is just, it informed my soul so very much. And a lot of folks don't even realize that they're listening to Louis Prima when they're like watching Elf or something, the movie. You know what I mean? That's, the whole Elf soundtrack is Louis Prima, basically. He's definitely one of my favorites from a classic,
Right.
We'll call it swing jazz, right?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And I really enjoy that style of jazz. I play that quite a bit in the lounge. I enjoy a lot of the early mixed. I like that jazz blues fusion. The old piece of wire and a nail on the side of the house. The Muddy Waters, old. That era. I enjoy that style of music very, very much, and that informs my daily music at the lounge incredibly. Yeah.
Will, how about you?
Well, I listen to jazz on Pandora. Mm-hmm. So
Whatever's there.
Whatever's there.
Yeah.
Whatever's on that playlist. I just, and I listen to that, and I listen to Apple Music Jazz. So I'll just, turn on some jazz station and just let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, I know the names of the guys
No, that's
playing
all right.
it, but that's
Yeah, I get
just
it.
pretty much what I do.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. How about question or two out in the audience? Anybody? Come on. Back there? Anybody?
Come on, Willie.
Emily, fire away.
So each of your lounges does sound like it's totally unique, sort of like
sure.
your personality.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're obviously true entrepreneurs. How did you come to doing what you're doing in Kansas City? Did you guys grow up here? Did you come from elsewhere? Just give us like a short version of how you got here.
Go ahead,
wants
Will.
to start?
Question is,
Will,
how did they
who
get
wants to
involved
start?
in this?
Will started it, so.
Well,
I only got like a half an hour.
Well, I grew up in Kansas City, so for me, initially, the cigar lounge was birthed out of ministry. I pastored for a number of years, and so I wanted to create a space where I could have the conversation about the gospel. And so for me, it was I just wanted a quiet space where the conversation would come up at some point. Not forced, of course. But a lot of times people come to a cigar lounge to get their piece because they're stressed out, maybe they got some issue, and you end up more or less counseling folks. And so for me, the lounge was birthed from that idea of just creating a safe space. And it developed into all of this other stuff.
Yeah. Hey, how many years ago was that?
That I opened my lounge? In 2021. Actually, that was when I started the journey, but the lounge itself, my first soft opening was February 2022.
And you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years down the road still doing it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Not as busy. At some point, hopefully it'll get enough traction where I can just
Get
come in
out.
and have a cigar.
Yeah.
And not,
That's
and
all
not-
our dreams.
Not been working.
Not to work so hard, yeah.
Jason, how about you?
Yeah, I'm not a Kansas Citian by birth. I was born and raised in Chicago, and I have
I could just tell by looking at it. Yeah.
all my roots are there. And I moved to Kansas City in 2017, and I didn't move. I got recruited. I've been in national security business for a long time, and I got recruited here because Kansas City is pretty significantly large hub for the national security complex of this country.
Right.
And I do a lot of traveling and I work remotely, and so I have a really nice home office and I smoke cigars back there. But I have 4 boys at home, and they were getting a little too big, and they kept finding me and interrupting, and I love them. I love the interruptions, but it's like, you want chocolate milk or not? I gotta do this. And so, my wife, we are serial entrepreneurs, and we do have quite a few other businesses, a lot of real estate. We were on the verge of buying another rental property, and I said, why don't we just buy a commercial property and we can open up a lounge? Because I've been smoking cigars since I was in high school. I smoked my first cigar because my high school teacher gave me one at graduation. And we did that. I said, we can office out of here and we can enjoy the space that we built, and we can stop hosting. We're the bedrock of our family. So when it came to hosting the family, it was getting really old. And I was like, you know what? We have people now that can host our family. They can do it at our lounge in a smoke-free environment. We shut the place down for the day, and so we transitioned pretty quickly to this office space, which turned into a lounge, which turned into, the opportunity to celebrate live music in Kansas City, and we've been cooking ever since.
Yeah. Mike, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised Kansas City. I was actually a police officer for 15 years, and I loved it.
On the Missouri side?
On
or
the Kansas side.
Kansas side?
Literally right up the street. So I got to a point in my career where I was just like, I always wanted to be a business owner, and probably in the middle of my career, I wanted to open a cigar lounge because I fell in love with cigars. I smoked my first cigar in 2012, and just fell in love with it, fell in love with the atmosphere, the environment. And so I got a point in my career where I was just like, I really want to just do this. And I remember talking to my wife, and she was like, well, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. So I left the sheriff's office, and then I started this. I mean, I was taking notes and going to lounges and like for years because I wanted to curate like what I wanted. Like I said earlier, like each lounge is different. I wanted to be different than everyone else. I didn't want to be the same. So I think we do a good job of that, and that's what I wanted to do here. And so I opened my doors February of 23, and you're February 22.
Right. It's about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who gave you your first cigar? How did you get going when you fell in love so fast?
I just bought my cigar, and I
Just tried it.
Yeah, it was a bad mistake because I got a very strong cigar because I thought I could handle it. And I was like, well, I drink high-proof bourbon. I'm fine. And I smoked a Liga Privada, which you're smoking. Yeah,
The wrong one to start with.
wrong one to start with. And I quickly learned that cigars will humble you if you don't start off with the first step. So, yeah. So
Well, the other commonality between, cigars and jazz, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you just hit on it, Mike. I mean, there's some education that's involved with cigars. And with jazz, too, if you pick the wrong thing to start with, you may never go back to it. So you got to know entryways and have some sense of where to go to get started.
yeah, I feel like you said, like jazz and cigars are very similar because in the cigar world, there's cigar etiquette. Like there's these unwritten rules that everyone should know about.
And they'll know if you don't know.
And they know if you don't know. Yeah. And we'll make sure that you know if you
How do you communicate those unwritten rules?
no,
You make it very clear.
yeah.
You don't do that.
And so I'll just go over a few ones. Like the number one thing is like if you go to a cigar lounge, you buy something. Like because we can't keep these lights on if you just come in.
You just come in to sit and
just
do
come in
homework.
and sit.
To his point, when I first came in, that's the first thing I did. Hey, let me get a cigar.
Yeah.
You do that.
And then, and then another thing is respect people's spaces. You don't talk about what other people's smoking, you don't make fun or anything. And, you clean up after yourself, just kind of just normal, common decency rules. But I think kind of goes with jazz. Like you just don't jump into it. You kind of get to know, who you like, and you talk to other different people, and you don't just say like, oh, this is the only person I'm going to listen to, and we're going to go from there. And you kind of open your horizons. Same thing with cigars. Like you start off at, your baseline. Normally you're going to smoke something sweet or light, and then you just move up from there, and you kind of just,
Well, the same thing is true with jazz artists and their instruments. I try to be nice one day. It's like, here, let me grab your don't touch that saxophone. Like, I got you, boss. I understand.
That is exactly right.
Oh,
I'll leave your saxophone right there.
I also learned real quick when I first opened, the music was playing, and I just handed the check to just whoever. They're like, no. You pay the person that booked it. Like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Rules there, too.
Yeah, there's rules that I don't know about.
Do people come up to you and say, hey, who's playing this right now? Or do you get that question?
Oh, absolutely.
Are they curious about, who
I get it all the time. Like, hey, who's playing this? And I'll go to my iPad and I'll tell them exactly. So there's a lot of people that fall in love real quick with music.
Real quick. I get that. Someone else. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So I know Mike just celebrated his 30th anniversary, and it sounded like you opened in 2021. How did COVID hit you? Because I know that was kind of in the middle, near the end of it, and then the same question for you.
Yeah, so for me, I was on the kind of the end of COVID. In fact, when I started the lounge, when I went to go apply for the business license and that type of thing, I got all the questions like, are you sure you want to do this? COVID's going on. And so because whenever COVID was going on, there was they allowed you to do certain businesses. And so cigar lounges, certainly mine wasn't necessarily impacted by it because you still could come in and have a drink. I think they called it essential businesses, right? So I necessarily wasn't impacted by it. However, people was not getting out, right? And so that was the impact. But guys still were smoking. And so I had people coming in grabbing actually I did pretty good. I mean, they were grabbing a handful of sticks, whereas normally they might come in and have a stick, sit there for an hour, smoke on a couple sticks, but because they were smoking them at home, I had guys coming in grabbing a handful, I'm gonna need this for next week. So I actually did okay in my retail cigar sales during COVID than I am now, because guys can come in and actually smoke a stick and come back tomorrow and smoke another one.
Hey, Mike, a stick is a cigar, just so you're staying with us. So I want to make sure I'm not losing you here too quick. Yeah.
Yeah, the COVID, we conceptualized Sherry's during COVID, and in fact, it was my COVID project, having, the stay-at-home orders, is when I built my cigar lounge at home, which is about 500 square foot spot in the back of the house, which is where I was officing out of. And it was in that space that we finalized the plans, bought the building, and so forth, and then deployed the concept after the market research said, look, it's probably going to do okay if you pull the trigger now. And during COVID, only a few businesses industries actually grew during that time, and that included tobacco sales, that included alcohol sales, and those things, because a vice is a vice, and good vices are hard to come by. This is something that folks can enjoy without being shunned, ridiculed, and separated from society, really.
So you could do business surveys about the need for a cigar lounge. I mean,
absolutely. The market research is out there, and we all did it. It's there, and you can you do it locally, and then you expand your search broadly, nationally and globally. And when you look at it, the reason we're so niche, right? I think the numbers back then, it was like 600 million, about 600 million cigars were sold globally every year, and about 600 million cigarettes are sold every hour of every day.
Wow.
Right? So it's a very niche environment that we operate in, and it is why it is an elegant setting such as this, and excuse my French, but why you don't see dumbassery in a lot of cases.
Dumbassery.
Right?
I'm stealing that.
Yeah, because it is.
I'll explain that to you later, Mike.
It is a niche. It's a very niche environment and a very curated atmosphere that Mike and Will and we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that the vibe is matching the scene and the people and the experience. And it's very important to us. It is absolutely our lives.
Yeah, and going back to like the data, and I'll hit more into it. It's a majority of cigar smokers are in the United States, and then 1% of the population smokes cigars. And then out of that 1% of the population that smokes cigars, about 10 to 20% of that 1% smoke regularly, like 2, 3, or 4 a week. So you have a small percentage of 1% that smoke regularly, that are our customers. Yeah. And then now we have to share those customers, and we have to we're not like fighting for the customers, but it's like there's such a small population. That's why I say it's such a niche thing. Yeah. So
how do you convert people from cigarette smoking to cigar smoking? Is that part of your mission?
Yeah.
Does it have to be?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's building environments like ours. Like you come in, like you're not going to find a cigarette lounge.
Yeah,
because a cigarette, nothing against cigarette smokers, but a cigarette is very much like you're smoking it quick, I need a little cigarette break, smoking it quick, and you're back. When you smoke a cigar, you have to set aside an hour at least just to sit and relax and enjoy. I tell people, like, if you're smoking a cigar, you do not rush it. Yeah. Like, you should not be busy smoking a cigar. Ruin the experience. Yeah.
Right. And we see the graduation of young people smoking hookahs. We see that graduation to, the cigar life later on. And it's always interesting to watch when somebody, when somebody graduates their experience, because hookah is a social experiment also.
Yeah.
But it's very different, draws a different crowd, a much younger crowd.
Yeah.
And when we get those folks in, and they ask every day, you have hookah in here? Unfortunately, we don't.
Go down the street.
But yeah, you can go down the street. But I'll get you a cigar that I think will be comfortable. You should sit down and give it a shot, and if you don't like it, it'll be on me.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right.
And we really, absolutely try to graduate folks from the hookah, from the vape, and from cigarettes.
Yeah. Anybody else? Mike?
Yeah, this is very enjoyable. Listen to you guys explain the background, how you got into it, and so on. It's a great panel discussion, and it's a great feel of a room to do this. Do you do these kind of chats for your audience periodically on, have somebody come in on a subject?
I would love to do these more. I know that we do a lot of like Cigar 101 classes and stuff like that. I know this month to celebrate Women's Month, like Women's History Month, we have an event, I think March 25th, where it's Women's Intro to Bourbon and Cigars. So it's female-led, a female's coming in. We have a master tobacconist that's doing the tobacco part. Then we have a female that worked at J. Rieger for the longest time, and she was like I forgot what she does. She's head of marketing there, so she's doing like the whiskey side of it. And so this is our second year doing it. So we try to do as much education as we can for people to come inside the doors, and because our goal as cigar entrepreneurs are to bring more people into the culture. So we want as many people smoking cigars. So that's our goal. Is like come and learn, and we get excited when we see a person coming in and say, "I've never smoked a cigar before." Great, like let's get you indoctrinated into the culture, and hopefully we don't lose you. So I know if it's like me, it's like you see a first timer, you're like, "How's the cigar? You good? Are they good? Like, you need anything?" Because you want their experience to be enjoyable.
One of the things that we do in terms of discussions is a lot of guys that will come into the environment, they'll want to do like a podcast. So now I'm starting to get a lot of guys who want to use my lounge to do their podcast, just because they want the vibe, and they want the scenery, and so I'm getting a lot of that, and I'm okay with it, because now if someone is looking at a podcast, and where are you at? Well, I'm at Classic. So it could be, I've got guys doing politics. In fact, this Thursday I have a senator, a guy who's running from senator, who's doing his campaign event, fundraiser at my lounge.
Who is it?
Oh, you would ask me that.
I covered politics for many years for the Star. That's
you have
why
to look
I'm
on
asking.
my website, on my Facebook page. But but anyway, he'll be there Thursday. Raising funds for his, and I've had city council persons. Who's the Williams guy? What's the last name? Williams. Anyway, what happens is when you do these discussions, they'll come out and they'll do these podcasts, and they'll look at where you're at, and then they'll want to come out and check it out. So you start to get some traction.
I know I do a podcast here too, and then I know you do.
Yeah, we have a podcast.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, human nature, we're story people. People enjoy stories, telling stories. And if you look around Mike's shop, pretty much everything could probably be a conversation starter in some way, and that happens often. And if Mike could spare the time, he's probably going to sit there for 20 minutes and tell you the story because you're going to ask about it. Or you're going to, and a lot, especially new folks, they come in and they say, just give me the elevator pitch version of what has happened here, because this is awesome. And that happens every day. And those kinds of conversations happen regularly, but the podcasts are very real, and that does promote the conversation. And it's something that we do enjoy. It's absolutely enjoyable to do that.
John Bowman.
Okay. Well, you got a podcast. Mike's got all guys' children have a podcast these days, right? I mean, you need to have one. Everybody else has got one. I got one. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Both been in my pockets. Yeah.
Have they? Yeah. How about somebody else? Yeah, way in the back.
So this will be for Mike. So for someone like me, Mike, I don't smoke cigars, but I drink and I love live music. And I just like a relaxed, laid-back environment. So how do I maneuver around your spot? Because you don't have bars. I come in, do I need to buy a cigar anyway, even though I don't smoke? So how can
So
Yeah,
what?
repeat the question real quick, Mike, so we can
Yeah, so
keep.
he was asking, if you're not a cigar smoker and you just want to come in and pretty much enjoy the space, like, what do you do? How do you maneuver around that? And so what we tell people is, like, buy a cigar for someone else, or even just pay $10. That just kind of helps us out. And so I know all of us have like a cut fee, what we call it. And so you just come in, you pay $10, and then you just enjoy the space. And we are BYOB, you can bring in whatever you want, you can bring in food, and we have so many times where we'll have like a big group of girls that come in and do like charcuterie and wine night and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, anybody can come and enjoy the space. We will never turn away people. Just you gotta get the vibe and you gotta at least help support. That's all we ask. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I could not do this without my wife, and I know they're the same.
Absolutely. If you've met Naomi, she's the design genius behind it. All I wanted was a bucket and a cigar. Just give me a bucket and a cigar, and we're fine. She said, well, no, we're going to do it right. We got to do it right. So, yeah, it is definitely them.
And I hate to say Miss Jackson, but I was really looking forward because Nayeli was on.
I know. She said she didn't come for me. Naomi was supposed to be here, but I am sorry.
Yeah, so. It's Jackson.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. Disappointing to look at for sure. But yeah. She'll be here next time, but she'll be there all month because one of the reasons I'm here is because I'm traveling for the next month and I won't be here. So we had to make some changes and move some pieces around. So, but I'll make sure she knows that you said that.
Hey, Mike, did you open this room up here when you first bought it? Was it like this, or what did you structurally do anything to it?
So I'll give you a little bit of history on this building, and I hope I'm not freak anybody out. So this building was built in the late 1800s, and it used to be a funeral home. So, yes, I know, sorry. And so next door was the actual funeral home, and then in here was the carriage house where they sold the horses. So you can see, like, we still have the original wood floor.
No kidding.
It takes a lot of upkeep to keep these floors looking the way they do. But then, and then I'll show you guys downstairs if you want. Downstairs was the morgue, but we fixed it up nice, you can't tell.
No bodies.
Yeah, no bodies.
Yeah.
It's been a upholstery shop, it's been a mechanic shop, it's been a boxing gym, storage unit, photography studio. And then before I got it, a guy just lived here. Like, this was his one-bedroom studio apartment, which
Wow.
the coolest spot ever. But when I got it, it was in very good shape. Like, when I got it, it was just bare. Wood floors, brick wall. And like that, where the humidor was, that was his kitchen. So we just kind of added, put that as our humidor. And then if you guys use a bathroom, there's a shower in there because that was a shower. But it was in good shape. So I got lucky with this building. Yeah. Yeah.
That's neat. That's neat. Yeah.
Will has two restrooms. Have you guys thought about getting another one?
Yes, up here. Yeah, we're going to take out that shower and trying to open it up. Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing for us. It's definitely a space function, and our restroom. One of the reasons we were delayed in opening was because we had to build the restroom twice because the architectural designs were good, but the builder missed it by like 3 inches. So we failed inspection, and all these things happened. And we
Tell me the city didn't just.
It was wild, yeah, and that's fine, right? Except it cost us, 2 months. Extra dollars and then having to circle back to recoup those dollars from the builder. So we are, it's definitely on the horizon. Certainly something that we're looking at.
For my lounge, I want to mention my wife. She honestly is the designer. You know, I'm
That's a theme here I'm getting.
Yeah,
Well, I'm the designer of here.
Okay.
Don't do it. Hey, hey, hey.
dominate. My trade is accounting. My background is accounting, so I usually do the numbers and the margins and the studies. And she's okay. Well, and normally my question to her is, okay, how much is that? And then how can I? And I'm thinking, how can I recoup my costs? So she does the social media. She does everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yes, sir.
So 2 questions. Is this the first time you guys have been on a panel together?
Yes, it's not the first time we've all hung out though.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah,
Take the show on the road.
Unrehearsed. We didn't get questions in advance.
yeah.
So then, second question, can you guys just remind the audience why cigars and jazz go together?
Why do cigars and jazz go together?
Go ahead,
I'll
Will.
take it if you want to. Go ahead.
I'll just say, just to start, because I think the main reasons, at least for me, is jazz. If you really want to enjoy it, you got to stop and listen. And the same thing with a cigar. If you really want to enjoy a cigar, you can't rush a cigar.
I get that.
You really have to sit down.
I get that.
And sit and just enjoy the moment. So I'm driven, and so a cigar really forces me
Slow down.
to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the atmosphere is hugely important, and jazz is, there's a lot more to jazz than just the music itself. It's that vibe, it's the dim lit room, it's the intimate seating, right? And those things are very important, and the same holds true for a cigar.
Yeah.
And if you just sit back one day and watch someone walk into a lounge, and you don't see them, walking at or running anywhere, moving too quickly. They're taking their time. They're taking their seat. They're getting their tools out. They kind of spread out what they need, right? It's just watch a band set up and watch how delicate that process is to create the vibe for you. And those things do marry together.
Yeah.
And I do think that's that atmosphere, that vibe is exactly why they go well together.
Yeah, and then I would always go back to when I was a detective. I would always put my headphones in, and when I was working on a case, I would listen to jazz, because that would calm me down, make me focus, make me relax, right? And that's the same exact thing a cigar does. Like what Will said, it's like you have 2 and 2 together and just perfect. They marry each other perfectly. And what I was saying earlier, it's like finding peace in jazz and cigars, like they marry very well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more. Anybody else? Well, I got to tell you, as a talk show host, I'm game for anything. But Steve, when you first proposed this, I was sort of thinking, cigar lounge, where's this conversation going to go? And this was a really good conversation. This was terrific.
It's really Demetrius.
Demetrius, well, good for you.
Demetrius was the one
Thank you,
that
Demetrius.
pushed this idea.
Really good idea. Really good. Yeah. Mike, Will, Jason, let's give them all a round of applause here. Really, just grateful. And thank you for having us.
Yeah,
here
of
tonight.
course.
This is just
Anytime,
just great.
anytime. I love this. Yeah.
Just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah. All right. Thanks again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you all. Thanks for having us.
Yep.